When a source first came to me with documents about corruption in Philhealth, this is the state insurance agency, I knew this was a story we needed to pursue. The information was shocking because there were claims for ghost dialysis treatments or treatments for patients who have long been dead. And so we made an investigative report. We decided to make a series and we were able to come up with 24 stories in all in the span of a month. In July of 2019, in his State of the Nation address, the President singled out the Philhealth scam as an example of systemic corruption that he wanted to weed out.
The recent uncovering of the massive fraud perpetrated against the public health insurance system proves that corruption is pervasive. Huge amount of medical funds were released to cover padded medical claims and imaginary treatment of ghost patients. I am grossly disappointed.
As a journalist and as a Filipino taxpayer, I think this issue came at the most opportune time because our government is preparing to implement the Universal Health Care Law, which expanded the coverage of the social health insurance to Filipinos. This year alone, our government will be spending 257 billion pesos to implement the law. Imagine if 80% or 90% of that fund would be lost to corruption and other fraudulent activities inside that agency.
Dissecting the fraud that was happening at Philhealth wasn't easy. The schemes were wide-ranging, from the upcasing of diseases which allowed hospitals to claim more payments from Philhealth to the issuance of fake receipts that were given to our migrant workers.
The main concern actually of the whistleblowers when we were talking to them was that for all these shenanigans in Philhealth to stop once and for all, because these have been going on for so many years already, and they're so concerned that the people who are involved in these irregularities have entrenched themselves so deeply into the system that there will no longer be any way for this syndicate, so to speak, to be shattered and destroyed.
The whistleblowers were very reluctant to speak to me. I had to give them a lot of reassurance that they will be safe, that their story will be told accurately, and that they were doing the right thing because they were afraid against going up against very powerful people.
After the series of our investigative reports came out, it caught the attention not only of the public but of our legislators as well. Several senators filed separate resolutions calling for a public inquiry.
I think one of the biggest impacts of the Philhealth story is that it restored the value of watchdog journalism in an era of systematic disinformation. I've always believed that the government and journalism both have its first loyalty, which is to the public.
For us in the Inquirer, this is a validation of the value of good journalism to the community and the country, exposing the web of corruption so that public funds and public interests are protected and corrupt officials are held accountable.